Hey, everybody. I don't know if I am live or not. I'm using a couple newer software here, so let me just see what happens. Okay, great. Let me just change this. Okay, awesome. Welcome, everybody. This is the Monday Motivational Club. I thought if you're like most entrepreneurs, most people in general, we are just so busy. And every Monday rolls around. We have a lot of goals, plans, ideas, all that kind of stuff. And then do you get, kind of knocked off to the side? Something comes up, you do this, you do that. So I thought, what better way to help us stay focused is just to have a plan of action, but more importantly, have a group of people come together so that we can encourage one another. So I thought, I'm just going to try this live. I don't know how it's going to work. Uh, I'm just going to go with it and see. So if you happen to stumble on here, especially one of the first few times that I do this, I may just be rambling until I get my rhythm going here. So, a little bit about me. If you're new to my world, Debbie Starr, I'm all about helping entrepreneurs, coaches, business owners simplify their business, make more money without spending more time. That's the bottom line. I feel like in the online space, especially, there's so much stuff that needs to be done, and then you factor in technology, and you end up just spending all of your time working on all of these pieces in your business and you're not making any traction. So my goal when I work with my clients and my students is let's get rid of all this extra stuff and focus on who you help, how you help them, what transformation, and then put the pieces in place that they need and then to move forward with that. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, I've been thinking a lot about, again, especially entrepreneurs, but even in your day to day life, uh, we get started with so many projects, but maybe nothing gets done. Let me know if you happen to watch this, even on the replay. Is that you? So I am actually going to be launching soon what I call the finisher circle. And the whole goal of that is to help you identify what it is you want to work on and how can we get you to the finish line. Whether it's launching a new product or a new course, whatever it is, or it might even be in your personal life, something that you want to make traction on. So that's going to be the goal. It's going to be a super low price membership. And one piece of that will be our Monday motivational. But I wanted to open this up to the public. There's no opt in, there's no sign in, anything like that. You can just hop in. Why did I choose 8:30? Because, the early bird gets the worm. And I know on the West Coast, this is like super early. So I apologize for that, but I'm in the East Coast and I want to get going. Okay. Let's hit the ground running. And Monday is the best day to either Sunday night or Monday morning to plan our week. So I just wanted us to do it together. So if you do join us every Monday, here's my suggestion. First of all, put something on your calendar and set a timer. I actually, when I have live sessions, I actually set two timers on my calendar. It's always there and it notifies me 30 minutes in advance. And then I will just get out my trusty phone here and set the beeper so that it goes off like 5 minutes or 10 minutes before because we get busy doing stuff. Anything that's important, it's important to set a framework around it so that you will actually accomplish it, that you will get it done. So the same thing with this, the Monday Motivational Club, as I'm calling it here. If you're serious about getting things done in your life and your business, then make a commitment. That's the other thing that I love about the calendar is because I check my calendar several times a day. But if it's on the calendar, it means I've made a commitment. If it's not on my calendar, it's just one of those wannabe things. Um, Even personal things. I take care of an aging relative, my little aunt, and so I do her hair once a week for her, do her bookkeeping, all of that kind of stuff. And when we decide which day we're going to be doing her hair, especially if it changes, she knows if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So we have to put things on our calendar if we want to get something accomplished. Now, I am going to, let's see if I can share my screen. I wanted to just show you the notes that I have here. Okay, give me a second. I am going to pop over. I just want to pop over to YouTube again and see if you are seeing this. And if not, then I'll know that I'll have to switch it up. Okay, I think you guys can see it. And you can hear that echo. Lovely. Okay, so I am going to make this a little bigger, and let's just talk about just some thoughts that I had here. Since right now I'm just hanging out with myself and maybe anybody that watches on replay. When you are planning your week, I like to think about themes. Now, of course, the stores, they love themes because that means, oh, it's a new holiday coming up. So that means you need to go out and buy more stuff based on that holiday. They're very smart though, because they come up with this theme, and that theme is top of mind. Everybody's talking about it. You see stuff, you hear the music, all of that kind of stuff. So, as you're planning your week, do you have a theme? What's the theme for this week? And as you're planning your week, we all have two segments, our work and our personal. So it's okay to go ahead and plan your personal week and your personal theme also. So we want to plan the theme of our week. And at the end of this, I will actually show you what I'm planning, and you can help me stay accountable on that. So it's important to plan the week. Now, the next thing that I want to mention is the um, downfall that people fall into is how will you define success? And what I mean by that is, in other words, how do you know that you're done with that? There's a lot of tasks, a lot of projects that you could just go on and on. Let me take social media, for instance. If you're in the online space and every day, every week you're creating social media, then you think, well, it never ends. But as we are planning our week, what I want you to do is to be able to quantify that. So if your social media task for the week is that you do 3 posts a day, maybe one to LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. You could check that off, that I've done this. And if your goal is, I want to do this 5 times, or yeah, 5 times a week, or maybe you're just getting started and you say, okay, I'm going to aim for 3 times a week. All right. So do you see how, even though this is an ongoing task in your business, you can check it off and you can actually see that you've completed that task. Now, other things, sometimes it's a little harder to define success because you're looking at the overarching project. But for this week, you've got many steps, little tiny steps that take you to that big picture. Again, any task that you have, how will you define that success, or what is the completion rate? Let's talk about the pitfalls. Usually the reason that we, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, we feel like that, we haven't accomplished anything is because our task, our goals are too broad. So, well, I'm going to work on my website. Well, that's important, but specifically for this week, what do you want to get accomplished on rebuilding your website? Or you're thinking of launching something specifically this week. What are you going to do? Maybe you're working on building all of the assets, the images, the landing page, the opt-in. Spell them all out and decide which ones you want to do and how you will define the completion of that. Another pitfall is too many. We love packing in our schedule. I'm doing it all the time. Stick with me till the end, and I'm going to show you the daily planning tool that I think will help you so that you can narrow this down. So when we have too many things, what happens? Our mind shuts down because we don't know what to focus on. We're paralyzed because there's just too many things. Or we may start one little thing and then we realize, oh, I need to do this, and then we jump around. Okay, so again, if our task or our goals are too broad, if it's too many, and also no end marker. So that goes along with how we define success. Because again, if we feel like that we never get to the end zone, we give up. So we need to chunk things down, but then we need to celebrate when we hit those end markers. So let's go back to a launch. So let's say that you're going to be working on creating all the digital assets. Well, what are those assets? That would be the first task. Define the digital assets. So what do I mean by that? You probably need what I call my digital stack image that has a picture of the computer and all of the stuff that you get with it. You probably need another image that goes, probably 3 or 4 images that go on the landing page and so forth. So you would define all of those things. And do you see how then it's very easy to say, okay, and that might be a big goal. Maybe that's all you're working on is just creating the actual digital, like Canva images or something. And then you get into, okay, the landing page. Well, what's involved in the landing page? Write the context or content, write or create the opt in, create the tags, the automations, all of that kind of stuff. All right. So again, on our pitfalls, we don't want it to be too broad. We don't want there to be too many and no end markers. So I'm going to show you this daily planning tool in a minute. And I think you're going to enjoy using that. So I like to walk the talk. So what's my focus this week? My focus this week and the theme that I am going to be focusing on is the finisher's circle. I kind of hinted about that. It's going to be a low cost, like $7 a month, incredible low cost membership where a group of us come together. We encourage one another. We define and own what we're working on and put the flag in the ground that, okay, this is what I want to accomplish by this date. And the rest of us are going to be cheering you on. I'm going to be delivering some different assets that will help you hit those finishing goals. So I think it's going to be lovely. Anyway, so that's the focus of this week. Not everything, but what do I want to accomplish around this bigger goal or bigger task? One thing that I want to do is I need to get some testers because I have a task tracker app that I'm building that will also help you stay focused on all of those little mini tasks. And if I have time here in a minute, I'll show you that. So again, my focus, the theme is the everything kind of revolves around the finisher circle membership. Little mini section that I'm going to be focusing on is the task tracker, specifically get testers. And by the way, if you'd like to test it, I mean, literally, it's still in the beta format. In other words, I'm tweaking it, I'm making some changes, but then you'll have first dibs to get it. Okay. And then I am also going to be focusing on my social media announcements. So in the finishing circle, I need to create what we call some hand raisers to kind of float the flag out there and see who's interested. So I need to create those. And I also need to create the plan for the finishing circle launch. It's going to be a soft launch. It's not going to be super detailed, but I still need a plan, a little project plan for that. So that's going to be the theme of this week. Now, am I doing all of this today? No. Again, we're focusing on what are we going to do this week? And then every day you know what you're supposed to be working on. And then we're going to identify some of those smaller tasks to get us to the finish line. Okay. And going back up here, when we talk about how will we define success, so let me go ahead and put this on here. How will I define success? Well, ultimately, I want 10 testers. Okay. Now I'm not defining the action steps, but I really want 10 testers. Now this particular task is just a little different because um, it's driven by a certain number, but I could go through all of the little mini steps for this, and maybe I would only get 3 testers. Does that mean that I haven't completed that task? No. So I'm going to define this. Actually, I'll do it this way. I'm going to define this just a little more. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to post in 5 Facebook groups looking for testers. Okay. I'm going to post in 2 memberships that I'm in looking for testers, and post in my coaching group. Okay. So if I go through all of those, then I'm pretty sure I'll get 10 testers. Okay. So do you see how, okay, I can check, check, check. Yes, I've done this. I've done the very best I can. And if I don't get any testers, then I need to go back to the drawing board. Am I offering something that people just not interested in? Am I doing them looking for testers in the wrong group? Whatever. Okay. Then I can analyze that. The social media announcements for the finishing circles. Um, how do I define the endpoint for that? So I'm going to say create, let's see, how many do I want to create? 3 hand raising posts. And a hand raising post, if you're not familiar with that, it's basically you float the flag and see who's interested. So I could also do this with the tracker here. So I could just say, hey, I'm getting ready to open up for my founding members in the finishing circle. Let me know if you're interested once this goes live, something like that. So, in other words, I'm talking about it and I'm wanting people to raise their hand, so to speak, saying yes. So, I'm going to create 3 different hand raising posts about this. Okay. I'm going to create 5 social media angle posts. In other words, who this helps, why they need it, etc. Okay. So, in other words, it's just like an awareness campaign. See, is there anything else that I want to do? I think that's it. So again, I can say, "Yep, I've done this. I've done this. I've done this." So create the project plan for the launch. This is pretty. It's just a one thing, so I'm just going to create a spreadsheet with checkboxes, and then there I'll have it. So that is my focus for this week. The theme is the finishing circle. Now, does this mean that this is all that I'm doing this week? No, I have ongoing tasks in my business. I'm working with my Digital Business Academy members. That's one task. I'm teaching a fun little. It's an actually curated little Office 101 course for people learning how to use the Microsoft Office products. I'm doing that. Uh, all of the day to day business kinds of things that you're doing. I'm doing like a postcard marketing campaign. So you get the idea. We have things in our business that we work on, but then each week we should have some kind of a theme. And stick with me because as we go along, especially in the finishing circle, we will be focusing on if you're in business, you should be offering something every week to your leads. I mean, you should always be growing your leads and you should always be offering something. So, that's part of my weekly business also. Okay, so that's what I'm working on. Now, let me show you this. Let me shrink this down just a little bit so you can see the big picture. If you follow me on my YouTube channel, I've talked about this before. This is what I call the 3x3 method. 3 priorities, 3 wins, 1 calm day. Now, what does that mean? So remember I said that part of the problem that we have when we're defining our task is we have too many things, they're too broad, and so forth. So this is just it's a little spreadsheet, but it helps keep you focused. And this week, so basically this is the theme. So what am I working on this week? I would put that. If there's a product or a service that I sell or a lead magnet, something like that, then I'm just calling it product focus for the week. It's kind of fun if you're into words. What's your word of the week? And then again, the messaging theme, mine's going to be all about finishing. How can we finish those projects that we're working on? You have a space here for life events. Notice it's above business events. My philosophy is life comes first. Okay, God, family, and then my business. So, what are any particular life events that's happening that I want to remember or I'm excited about? And then, what are those business events? Am I going to anything live? Am I attending some virtual things? Am I presenting something? Okay, so write down all of those business events. Here's just a quick little kind of a coaching checklist. Pretend like I'm your coach in your ear. So, what are some little mini things that you're working on? You can just list them here and check it off. Then, this is the real meat down here. 3 top priorities for the day. And again, we're not talking about those day to day activities that you're doing in your business. Most productivity experts say 3 is like the maximum number of things that you should focus on in a day. So if we go back to this list here and we come down here, for the week, again, my theme is the finisher circle, and here's kind of some uh, bigger, bigger ticket type things that I'm going to be working on. So the task tracker app if that's my focus for today, then what are the three major tasks that I'm going to do? I'm going to hop into five Facebook groups. I'm going to hop into two membership groups. I'm going to reach out to the coaching group. And so you can see I'm not trying to cram everything into one day, because what happens when we do that, we get so overwhelmed. We might have a good jump start, and then by Tuesday we're so burnt out. So only focus on three. And the saying is, the top three, one must do. So, of your priorities, what is the one must thing that you're going to accomplish for this day? And again, at the end of the day, you can come back and say, yes, I accomplished that. I reached that milestone. So, check. And to do a little celebration about that. Okay. And then the gratitude journal, whether you want to do this first thing in the morning or at the end of your day, it's always good to take a minute just to reflect on what is it that we're grateful for, and to put that down. And you could even put your celebration. So pat yourself on the back. Hey, I said I was going to create three social media um, posts today, and I did it. Hooray. Let's do a little happy dance about that. Okay. The first tab down here, start here, it just walks you through. I've got a little video that you can watch. Here it talks about the Digital Business Academy. If you want more focused help, more coaching, things like that, you could join us there. So that's what this is, and I will drop the link in the comments after this is over. I don't think I have anybody live with me. If you are live, I'll look at that in just a second, mention it, and I'll drop the link in for you right now. Okay, so let's come back here. Let me just shrink this down and make sure that we've talked about this. Looks like we're out of time. So next week, and if you want to be one of my testers for my new app, the it will help you stay on task, or yeah, task of your task. How's that? Then reach out and you can be one of my beta testers. Okay, so let me come back here and let me see. How do I come back just and look at you? Okay, I did it. Woo! All right. So, Monday motivational. Let me know in the comments. Reach out to me. What are you working on this week? Share your goals. Share those endpoints, how you're going to define success. And I'm here cheering for you. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.